Ducati surprised, Yamaha riders Miguel Oliveira and Alex Rins became the leaders. Both recorded lap times in the range of 1 minute and 52.7 seconds minutes. It destroyed Marquez's record since 2016 with a time of 1 minute and 54.5 seconds minutes. Yamaha is back with a new breakthrough in its V4 engine. Yamaha assigned Andrea Dovizioso and Augusto Fernandez yesterday to go down to the Brno circuit track to test their weapons before the July 19, 20 round, which effectively marks the return of the Czech series to MotoGP. Among the many things they need to focus on is the new engine with a V4 configuration, which also marks a new chapter in the history of the 4-stroke prototype engine from the Japanese Iwata manufacturer. Several details from the photos that came from Brno clearly show that the engine tested by Augusto Fernandez is a 1,000 cubic centimeters V4 engine. One indicator is the presence of a long undertail exhaust that is placed slightly to the right to provide space for the rear tire to enter when the shapeshifter/ride height device works. In addition, some details such as the perimeter frame or aluminum delta box look shorter compared to the current motorbike, reminding us of the modern MotoGP motorbike frame design platforms such as the Ducati Desmosedici. Aluminum swing arm, Stegosaurus fin stern wing with additional horizontal wing cross-section details between the two sides of the fin. Then don't miss the presence of the downwash duct, and also the convex fairing ground effect and the side diffuser model, which still looks to have the same concept as the current M1 inline 4. Don't forget the shape of the tail end, which has a box, is suspected to be the location of the tuned mass damper. Yamaha brought a total of 5 motorbikes in a private test in Brno, and one of them was the V4 engine tested by Andrea Dovizioso. This is the first time the Italian test rider has tested the new engine and underwent a fairly closed test on the circuit, which was just resurfaced on Tuesday and Wednesday. Dovi was not allowed to comment on his experience. In addition, from the time records, it is not certain which motorbike the 39-year-old rider tested because all of them were recorded as Yamaha test motorbikes. Andrea Dovizioso tests V4 engine in Brno, but not allowed to give any comments. Not only is the rider market being talked about, but technical developments are also interesting to discuss ahead of the middle of the 2025 season. In the test at the Maastricht circuit, the manufacturer with the tuning fork logo installed transponders on 5 motorbikes, 2 of which were used by regular riders Alex Rins and Miguel Oliveira. The times achieved during the 2 days at the newly repaved Automotodrome Brno were also impressive. Yamaha riders Miguel Oliveira and Alex Rins were at the forefront in this regard with the M1 inline 4. Both recorded lap times in the range of 1 minute and 52.7 seconds minutes. For comparison, Marc Marquez's lap record from 2016 was 1 minute and 54.596 seconds minutes. However, since the time records are only counted for one race weekend, the Spanish rider's record will remain, at least until the MotoGP event in mid-July. In the Brno test, the riders agreed that the new asphalt offers excellent grip. This spectacular racetrack is perfectly prepared for the return of MotoGP from July 18th to 20th. If the V4 engine proves to be a big success, Yamaha plans to use it in the 2026 season. That means Yamaha will run 2 major projects in parallel, namely the development of the 850 cubic centimeters for 2027 and the use of the 1000 cubic centimeters V4 motorbike for one transition season. And again, Yamaha's senior crew chief Silvano Galbuzera was seen in Dovizioso's garage in Brno. Are you even more curious about the development of the next V4 engine, guys? Ducati boss Gigi Dall'Igna handled the situation with diplomacy and measured public discourse, He had words of encouragement for his Italian rider. "I'm satisfied with Pecco's great race. For me, this was the most intense weekend of the year," he wrote, adding the need to keep trying and never stop believing. He also wanted to send a big hug and best wishes for a speedy recovery to Alex Marquez after his heavy crash. However, Dall'Igna paid the most intense compliment to the man of the moment. Regarding Marquez, he wrote, "Mark took his 6th win of the season, equaling the record of the legendary Giacomo Agostini." Gigi Dall'Igna also highlighted Marquez's ability to dominate on a circuit that is not his favorite, and concluded that his performance was really brave. Because after all the crashes in the practice session, Gigi Dall'Igna said everything about Marquez, about his character and talent, but also about his professionalism. On the other hand, Marco Melandry said that Marc Marquez is an absolute phenomenon. "Look at the replay of Marc Marquez's braking. His rear wheel is always on the ground. Maybe he moves sideways and spins, but he stays on the ground. Then look at the replay of Pecco Bagnaia's braking. You can see the front moving and the rear almost always lifting," said Marco Melandry, who was amazed by the magic of Marc Marquez. In short, both ride in very different ways, and it is clear, in this MotoGP where nothing makes a difference, that one of the two is missing. And we know who it is. Melandry began by analyzing his teammate. However, he denied the idea that Ducati was making a motorbike for Marc Marquez. "No, that's not what I mean. However, I said something that I have been saying since 2013, after seeing him on the track for the first time with a MotoGP bike. Marc Marquez is not just a champion, but an absolute phenomenon, one that can be counted on the fingers of one hand if you look at the history of motorcycles. He was the strongest for several seasons, even without having the best bike in his hands, because it was not yesterday that Honda was no longer the best bike. Then what happened to him, and we all wondered if and how he would come back. Now he's shown us, just as he showed us what he has and how hungry he is. He doesn't ride a Ducati because that's his market," said Marco Melandry, who was amazed by Marc Marquez's performance.